Let me take care of you. I believe in you. I think you're a great person. I think you're an amazing person. Let's figure out what the problem is. Let's see where you want to go. How can I support you? How can we get together as a unit so that we can make sure that, you know, you're going to get this new job, or you're going to be a success at this new career endeavor, or your new business is going to go. Let's see how we can retarget this marketing, because you can do it. He doesn't need her FICO score.
But that goes back to what I said about the supportive, inspiring woman. She wants to do better. If she is sitting down and allowing him to make this plan for her, and herself, she wants to do better. And that's what I'm saying. She can't be content with her circumstances.
Right.
You understand? And want to reach for someone that has achieved these circumstances. I think that's what
ambition should be managed.
Right. That should be where that evenly yoked stuff kind of comes into play. You understand what I'm saying? He is taking the time. I know your credit is bad, baby, but let's see what we can do about that. She wants to work on that. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, if you're content in your circumstances, and you're reaching for
not the
something
circumstances that you're talking about. You're talking about the ambition being equal.
Exactly.
Or the passion, because I agree with that. I don't like listen, if you have a job, that's great. But I want to know what your hustle is. Because that's usually where your passion lies.
Right.
Like, what are you doing outside of your job? You know what I mean? Like, what are you excited about?
What drives you?
Exactly. And so that I can agree with.
sorry.
I just want to, you said something I wanted to bring out a little bit. You said, when she said the thing about the credit, you said he doesn't want that woman with the good credit. Can we elaborate on that? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. When I said that the guy with the A1 credit doesn't want the woman with the A1 credit, what I was talking about is, at least in my experience, what I found is that, like, I have 2 degrees, I went to top schools. Normally, I don't attract guys who have 2 degrees and went to top schools. What I attract is guys who have less education, and I actually catch flack for that, because I'll date whomever. But normally guys who are equally yoked with me in terms of what I have and what my background is aren't looking at me. They're either looking for women who have less so that they can have somewhat more control in a relationship, or they're looking outside of the race. They don't necessarily want to date a black woman, or they're looking to have several women and not really commit to anyone. So that has been my personal experience. That's been the experience of my close friends who went to college with me. We have that same experience over and over again. So I was likening the credit score to the degrees, because I don't have A1 credit, so I can't speak to that one. Who are CEOs of companies will date the cashier at McDonald's. That's it.
And Leon Rogers said that on the show we just did, that, you know, more times than not, men will pick the waitress, but, you know, women won't pick the waiter.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of true, but in the roles that we talked about earlier, should that be the case anyway? You know what I mean? Because I do tend to look at a guy and say, why would you be looking for someone else to step into the role that is yours as a provider? I don't know.
And you know, like in relationship gurus talk about this all the time when they say that, you know, when you're dealing with an alpha male and you're dealing with a guy who has no problem achieving his goals and making decisions and doing, you know, what he says he's going to do, and that's the way he lives his life, then, you know, he wants the opposite. He doesn't want the same thing in a woman. He wants the girl who's batting her eyelashes and
the trophy one,
licking her hair, and she works out at the gym and does yoga.
Why she gotta talk like that?
She's white.
Right, yeah. My God, she's a white girl.
Well, you know, even if that as a joke to some black men, that is the epitome of ultra femininity. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Whatever in their mind that they view is like the ultra feminine, ultra woman. Well, some guys do it with girls with big titties, and some guys need girls with an extra large booty. I have achieved this. I can afford an extra large booty, you know, or I can now afford the almighty white woman. You know, like that's how they feel. I'm an achiever, I'm an alpha male, I have killed the biggest bull, and my prize is gonna be the shiniest, sparkliest, most glitteriest girl out there. And you know, sometimes that's not always the girl who, you know, spent a whole bunch of years and going to school and reading books and expanding her mind and her vocabulary, and wants to sit down and have an intellectual conversation with you and philosophize and talk about. That's not always why they like you. They think you're great.
You're their friend.
You're their greatest friend. You know, I don't know. They don't know why you haven't found a man yet.
Right.
But that's not what they want. You know, they want Miss Debutante, Miss Cheerleader, and you know, you sitting there like that.
But doesn't any of that make sense? To me, that just makes sense.
I totally.
As an alpha male, would you? That's the yin and the yang.
I understand that kills what the guy from the other panel said, is that, oh, a man will never cheat on the woman who's his friend. He'll cheat on her first.
But they do end up cheating on the trophy wife.
No, they're not marrying their friend.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not marrying their friend.
They're not marrying their friend. So the guy said the one woman the man will never cheat on is his friend. Well, if he's married to his friend, that means the attraction is gone. That means
I disagree with that. I disagree with that because, you know, I keep going back to my marriage, and it's so ridiculous because when people hear me talk about this, they say, well, why the hell did you get divorced? Well, he was just, he didn't know how to be truthful about not wanting to be monogamous, because we didn't have to be, but he just couldn't be truthful about it.
Well,
so that's why that relationship ended, because we could have just, hey.
Open the door.
Right. You're right, but I just... One of the things that I learned so much in that relationship, and
How long are you married?
11 years, and
well, thank God you learned a lot.
I know, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't you hate to walk away from that? Really, because I mean, if you're not learning from these things, you're not living. So it's more than anything, it needs to be that. But you know, just the opposite things, the things that you know. That he was, I wasn't, and we complimented each other, and we really were friends. And there were times when I didn't like him a lot. There were times when I didn't love him at all. But our friendship sustained me being respectful to him. Mm-hmm. And towards the end of our relationship, I would make note of that. Our friendship is waning, and that was my. Warning, danger Will Robinson. Danger Will Robinson. Like, I'm getting ready to exit stage left, because to me, once the friendship is over, what's the purpose? Like, what is there left? Like, we can fuck all day long. I could, he could pay the mortgage, I could cook the food. But if there's no camaraderie, if there's no friendship, if there's no mutuality of hobbies or interests or things, then what the fuck are we really doing? Excuse my French, I'm sorry. But really, there needs to be some friendship. And I think that the men are missing out on the friends that they have around them that they don't see in the role of partner, wife, girlfriend, because those are the women who will hold you down, hold you up, keep you,
There's usually no attraction.
But you know what? They look like precious all the time.
Friendship, okay, so the friendship in the marriage might keep him from ending the marriage. It's not going to keep him from cheating. It's not going to keep him from being unfaithful to his friend.
No, I agree with that.
And because in the same situation you described, where there's this guy and he's great friends with this girl and just doesn't understand why she hasn't found somebody, but he doesn't want her because there's no attraction there, because she
looks like precious.
Oh. Venture Rock Studios in 1906 and a half, South Halsted here in Chicago.
If you've ever dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur and don't know where to start, The Entrepreneur Within You by Julie Holloway is a must-read. Holloway and 17 co-authors share advice and inspiration that can save you from serious business blunders. So purchase your copy today on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. The Entrepreneur Within You. Empowering, equipping, inspiring.
Can we pose that question back to the men?
Looks like
okay, guys.
Question should just go to her.
No, stop. You know what? I think sometimes I think that it like you say, the men miss out because it could be a beautiful girl, but because because they're chasing a stereotype, they don't even want that stereotype.
And you know what?
They just don't know they don't want that stereotype. They're chasing what they think that everybody else wants them to have. They're chasing something where they feel like if they get it, regardless of how much they like it or they want it or not, when they get it, they gonna be the man, and that's all that matters to them. Which is why they end up there, and then they're cheating. And then they stepping out because as pretty as that little boo-boo is on her shelf, as sparkly as she is, something is missing. There's something that's not
but
real.
men are not the only people that do that. And I'm gonna use my son as an example. My son is considered a really good catch aesthetically. You know,
he got that good hair.
Down to his back, flowing, beautiful hair. You know, he's very attractive. He's just a gentleman in every sense of the word. When I show people pictures of him and his girlfriend, the first reaction out of all the women is, "Oh my God, that's his girlfriend? She's dark as this couch. She's a little less chubbier than me," and they look odd to people together. And so it's not just the men who put it on other men about this is who you chose. Women do it too. And I am so offended that women look at these pictures of my son with his girlfriend and think anything less of the situation. Because to me, I think, how great does this speak to his character that he's not concerned with nobody thinks about who he's dating? It doesn't matter to him what she looks like and that she's got a big ass and nice titties and whatever else. There's something about her herself that my son likes. And I'm more proud of him for that reason than anything else, I think. Because he's chosen somebody who he's been with for a year and a half and has professed he will never cheat on her as long as they're together, which I hope that is true for him. But I'm proud of him that he makes those decisions. But it's not his boys that are saying, that's who you chose. It's the women that he knows that have said, that's who you chose. So we have to take ownership of that too, ladies. Like, it's not just men putting it on other men. I mean, that gets me really heated.
When, women just barely got their little self-esteem about the girl.
And women, and her name is Precious. My son's girl.
I forgot.
Her name is Precious. Her name is Precious. So, I mean, when people make the Precious joke, I'm like, you motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
I get so offended. I really
She looks like Gabby. I won't say it. I could be in union. I could be Saturday. I'm like, we're necessary.
Right.
That's an accolade to you, to installing some real sense of value inside of a young man. Which I mean, again, these are cultural issues that the men come up and they don't have a great sense of value. Who am I and why am I valuable? And if I can see what's great about me, if I can see the king in me, if I can see the value in myself, then I can look at another woman and see past materialism and see past exploitism and see past sexualism and see the person and the human being and what's valuable and queenly and beautiful about this whole woman, and not just about one or two pieces of her aesthetic that are going to make me feel superior as a man.
Right.
So, I mean, going back to the question where we said, does women value more things? I think the things that men value are not the things that women value, and I don't think they should cross. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think they should?
I think that men are putting what they value on us. Like, you should, and vice versa. So they're thinking like, well, because she got a nice car, she thinks she the shit. Because she got a big house, she thinks she the shit. And we're thinking like, well, we work hard, we want a nice house. Not because we think we're the shit, it's because we can afford it, and that's what we want.
But you know what, it's like Michael said in one of the shows, that women lead with that. He doesn't like women who lead with, I have 2 degrees and I have a BMW. I have a house in Barrington and I travel to these places on the weekend. He was like, men could give a shit about those things. But he said women tend to lead with that, and that to them denotes that that's where women's value is, and not in themselves. Because titles and things and stuff, all that could be, gone away. Yeah, I mean, people nowadays are working out of college with degrees. They go, we got to work at Jewel. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean anymore in the world? Who who are you as a person, as a woman? How do you conduct yourself? What is your life value? What is your passion? Those are the things to me that should be looked at, not all the outer stuff.
But when the women lead with that, they lead with that because those are the things that's how men equate their success. When they men. No, I'm just saying, but they apply that to us. They're trying to think for us. She thinks she's a shit because you feel like you have a nice car, that you are the shit, and you put that off on us.
So they're projecting.
Exactly. Okay. So what they're saying, you know, when two men, it's a Mustang, it's a Corvette, and they looking at each other, and all of a sudden it's big, and they just taking off. And we're kind of like, what?
Right. We don't know. Even though we have those things, we don't want. They're not competition tools.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think they're.
And so and it kind of goes back to a man saying, why do you dress up and blah blah blah? I like you with no makeup and that. Well, you ain't wearing these Christian Louboutins for you. That's for Keisha. Keisha got some Christian Louboutins. I want my shoes look better than her. My makeup fine than her. My hair fine than her. This ain't for you, baby. So I just think that men put, when they say that, do we think that our things make us a better woman? No, you think. You put those thoughts on us. To think that the things, the education that we have and the material things that we have, you put that as preference. Because if you didn't, if you would put all those nice things that we have, you wouldn't care if we had on makeup, you wouldn't care if we were on the bus, you wouldn't care, you know, how we looked or things like that. You would want to get to know us from the inside and not what we drive and where we live. So I think that once again, men need to put some of the responsibilities on of them thinking that our things make us a good woman. No, you think that we think that.
Right.
And that's
because you think that.
Because you think that's how y'all pee on trees. We don't pee on trees.
You're right. There you have it, right there. Right.
Women don't pee on trees.
You didn't learn nothing else today. Women do not pee on trees. Right.
All right, so there you have it. The first round of the Sister Circle, the discussion on relationships. This was really good. You know, one of the things that you guys brought up that I thought was really good. Men often talk about how they want that woman that's got this, you know, she's educated, she's achieved that, and then they turn around and hold it against you. Because now you're too strong and you all this and all of that. You know, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like we can't win. Either we come into the relationship educated and having our own, and then you think we're competing with you, or we're too strong and too this, that, the other. Or we come in with nothing, or a little bit of nothing, or whatever the case might be, and then you throw it up in your face.
Right.
Yeah, or you think we're using you. You know, she ain't got nothing. She just wants your stuff. You know, we don't want your stuff. You know, we trying to be your helpmeet. However, this is the Sister Circle 3rd season. We talked about relationships. Make sure that you tune in next week because the women are going to really go in and talk about men. That's the topic next time. So until then, peace.
Very good, ladies.
Y'all are excellent.
Very good,
All the
ladies.
personality and stuff, you're hilarious. All of y'all, you even brought voices and stuff. I'm like, oh man, we got some straight up entertainment going on this one.
Right.
You guys are great.